All right, so we're back for another deep dive. And, you guys have sent us some really interesting research this time.
Yeah, this is a hot topic.
It is a hot topic. It's
Right.
AI and jobs, the future of work, and all that.
Huh?
We've got two pretty big names in the mix here.
Oh, yeah.
Brookings Institution, they've got a whole report.
Interesting.
And we've got Gartner specifically. We've got an analyst there named Nate Sudat. And they seem to have some slightly different takes on where this whole AI thing is going to hit the job market the hardest.
Right. It's interesting because Brookings is really focused on those high-skill tech jobs.
Yeah, like the Silicon Valley types.
Exactly. Those are the ones they're saying are going to be most affected by AI.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. AI is really good at all that, the cognitive stuff, right?
Coding, data analysis, all those things that those high-paying tech jobs require, yeah.
But here's the thing that kind of surprised me. They're not saying those jobs are going away completely.
Oh, interesting. So what are they saying?
Well, they're talking about this concept of AI augmentation.
Augmentation. So like AI is going to augment these jobs.
Yeah, basically AI becomes like a super powerful tool that helps these professionals do their jobs even better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's not replacing them, it's more like enhancing them.
Exactly. Think of it like, like a surgeon with an AI assistant.
Okay, I can see that.
The AI could analyze scans and flag potential issues like in real time.
That would be pretty amazing, actually.
Right. The surgeon is still the one making the decisions, but the AI is like speeding things up and maybe even improving the accuracy, right?
Yeah, it's like having a super-powered second opinion right there with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of tech jobs, Brookings also pointed out that there's this huge developer shortage coming up.
Oh, right, I have heard about that.
IDC says we'll be short like 4 million developers this year.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know. So Brookings thinks AI could actually help fill that gap.
Makes sense.
But it also makes me wonder if AI could actually end up increasing the demand for even more specialized developers.
Right.
The kind who can, build and manage all these AI systems.
Oh, that's an interesting point. It's like AI could solve one problem but then create another one.
Yeah, it's a weird paradox.
It's a very high-tech paradox.
Exactly. Okay, so now let's talk about Nate Sudat from Gartner. He's got a slightly different perspective on all this.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, he thinks Brookings is confusing automation with what AI is actually capable of. You see what I mean?
Okay, so he's saying there's more to AI than just replacing jobs.
Yeah, he says the real game changer is this idea of experience compression.
Experience compression? I've never heard of that.
It's basically how AI can speed up learning, especially for folks in those lower skill jobs. Making them way more productive even with less experience.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, think about like a call center worker.
Yeah.
With AI, they can handle way more complex customer interactions than they ever could before.
So the AI is like giving them a crash course in expertise.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And then Sudat contrasts that with what he calls skill expansion in those higher skill roles.
So AI is doing something different for the higher skill workers.
Yeah, it's more like a thought partner for them, like helping financial analysts or software engineers to be even more creative and, solve problems in new ways.
So for higher skill workers, AI is boosting their existing skills, while for lower skill workers, it's giving them a shortcut to a higher level of competence.
Exactly. You got it. And it's interesting. Sudat sees this whole experience compression thing as a positive thing, not a negative thing.
Really? How so?
Well, he thinks AI can empower workers and actually make them more valuable, not just automate them out of a job.
Okay, I see where he's coming from. But we also can't forget about the very real examples of AI's impact on low-skilled jobs that Peter Miskovich from JLL Consulting pointed out.
You're right.
He talks about things like customer service, where chatbots are replacing human agents.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
And then there's administrative roles being automated through AI-powered scheduling and document processing.
And even retail jobs. Those self-checkout kiosks and robotic food prep systems, that's all AI.
Right. And while the Brookings report is mostly focused on high tech, Miskovich's examples remind us that AI is already impacting jobs across all skill levels, even outside of Silicon Valley.
It's happening everywhere. But, before we jump into how we're supposed to adapt to all this, there's this one example that really stood out to me in the research. They mentioned Zillow using AI in a pretty amazing way.
Oh, yeah, Zillow. That was a fascinating case study.
They're basically using AI to break down the traditional boundaries between jobs within their company.
How so?
Well, they created a system that lets non-technical employees contribute to software development.
Wow, that's pretty radical.
I know. And this AI system of theirs connects over 100,000 home shoppers to agents.
That's impressive.
It really is. It makes you think, how many other companies could be doing this, using AI to blur the lines between different roles and create these more flexible work environments?
It's a whole new way of thinking about work.
It really is. But, with all this talk about how AI is going to change everything, should we be worried?
Well, both Brookings and Gartner seem to agree that panicking isn't the answer.
Right. They both see the potential for AI to create new opportunities and even enhance what we're capable of.
As long as we approach it strategically and proactively.
So let's talk about what that proactive approach might actually look like.
Okay, so Miskovich, for instance, he predicts we're going to see a whole bunch of new jobs popping up that are all about collaborating with AI.
So instead of just coding, software engineers might become like AI model trainers.
Right. They'll be teaching these AI systems how to learn and evolve.
That's wild.
It is. And he also emphasizes how important upskilling and reskilling is going to be.
Yeah, we got to keep learning, right?
Absolutely. Governments and businesses need to invest in programs that help workers adapt and learn the new skills they'll need in this AI-powered world.
It sounds like we're talking about a pretty big shift in how we think about work and education.
It is. It is. We need to rethink our approach to education and training, make it more accessible and adaptable to the job market, which is always changing.
And it can't just be on individuals to upskill themselves.
Right, exactly. Businesses need to step up too, invest in their employees, provide training programs, and create opportunities for people to learn on the job.
It sounds like we need a whole new mindset, individually and collectively.
Absolutely. We have to embrace this idea that learning is a lifelong process. It doesn't just stop after you graduate.
And that brings up something really important that I think sometimes gets lost in all this talk about AI and the future of work. How do we make sure everyone benefits from this AI revolution?
Right. What about the people whose jobs are most at risk?
We've seen how automation can displace workers, and it's a real concern that the people who are already struggling could get left behind in this AI future.
Absolutely. We have to think about things like social safety nets, retraining programs, maybe even things like universal basic income.
So everyone has a chance to thrive in this new economy, no matter their background or their skills.
It's about reimagining our social contract for the age of AI.
I like that. Instead of being afraid of AI, seeing it as a chance to build a more fair and prosperous future for everybody.
Exactly. Using AI to empower people, not push them aside.
Okay, so now let's bring it back to you, our listener. We've covered a lot in this deep dive, lots of different viewpoints on how AI is going to shake things up in the job market.
But what does all this mean for you?
How do you see these trends playing out in your own career, in your own industry?
We've talked about adaptability, lifelong learning, developing those uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
But what does that look like in practice for you? What can you do today to be ready for this AI-powered future?
It's a future full of possibilities, exciting and challenging all at the same time.
But the choices we make right now, those are what's going to shape how those possibilities actually unfold.
Exact.
The future of work is changing, but it's not set in stone yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
AI is a powerful force, for sure, but ultimately how it impacts us depends on the choices we make.
Individually and as a society.
Exactly. So before we go any further, let's take a minute and really unpack this whole AI augmentation thing,
Good idea.
because it's a term that gets thrown around a lot. But what does it actually look like for someone doing your job day in and day out?
Well, it's not like robots are going to be sitting in our office chairs, right? It's more like these AI tools are going to become part of how we do our work, helping us be more efficient, get more done.
So instead of replacing us, it's like they're giving us a boost?
Exactly. Like imagine you're a lawyer, for example.
Right?
AI could help them go through all those mountains of legal documents and case files.
Yeah, no one wants to do that.
Right. It could find relevant cases, maybe even suggest language for contracts.
So the lawyer can focus on the bigger picture.
Yeah, the strategy, the arguments, the stuff that requires that human touch.
It's like AI handles the grunt work so the human can do what they do best.
Precisely. Or think about a doctor.
Okay.
Instead of having to look at every single medical image by themselves, AI could pre-screen them,
Like flag the ones that need closer attention.
Yeah. That would save so much time.
And potentially catch things earlier.
Right. So then the doctor can spend more time on the really complex cases where their expertise is really needed.
It's like AI is taking care of those repetitive tasks so humans can focus on the things AI can't do, like empathy.
Exactly. The human connection, critical thinking, all that stuff.
And remember how Nate Sudat talked about AI's potential for boosting creativity and speeding up learning?
Yeah, those are going to be even more important in the future.
It's like we need to become even more human as AI takes over some of those other tasks.
We have to adapt.
Exactly. It's not enough to just learn to use AI. We need to double down on those uniquely human skills.
Become more adaptable, more creative, better at solving problems.
And that brings us to the idea of lifelong learning.
Right. Oh, absolutely. In a world where technology is changing all the time, we can't just stop learning after school.
Right, like our education system, that's got to change too, right?
I think so. Yeah, I can't just be these fixed, static models anymore.
We need something more agile, something that keeps up with the job market.
And it's not just up to individuals to figure this out,
Right, businesses have a role to play too.
They need to invest in their employees, offer training programs, give people a chance to learn new skills while they're working.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about work and education.
It really is. We have to embrace this idea that learning never stops.
And that actually brings up a really important point that I think gets overlooked sometimes.
Okay.
How do we make sure everyone benefits from this AI revolution? Not just the people who are already ahead.
That's a crucial question, yeah. What about the people whose jobs are most at risk? The ones who could be left behind?
We can't just assume everyone's going to benefit equally.
We have to be proactive about it. We need to think about those social safety nets, retraining programs, maybe even explore things like universal basic income.
So that everyone has a chance to participate in this new economy, no matter where they're starting from.
Right. It's about creating a more equitable future where the benefits of AI are shared more broadly.
It's like we need to rethink our social contract in the age of AI.
Exactly. Instead of seeing AI as this big, scary thing, what if we saw it as an opportunity?
An opportunity to create a more just and prosperous world.
Where everyone has a chance to succeed.
Using AI to lift people up, not push them down.
Exactly. So listener, think about it. What does all this mean for you? How do you see these trends playing out in your own life, in your own career? We've talked about a lot of big ideas here, but now it's time to bring it home. What can you do, starting today, to be ready for this AI-powered future? It's going to be exciting, it's going to be challenging, but ultimately, the future is what we make it.
It's like we're standing on the edge of something brand new, right? A mix of hope and uncertainty.
Well, one thing's for sure, we can't just ignore it. The future belongs to those who are willing to learn, to adapt, to embrace the possibilities.
The future of work is changing, that's clear, but it's not set in stone. Yet AI is a powerful tool, but how we use it, that's up to us.
Individually and as a society.
Exactly. So before we wrap up, let's take a closer look at this whole AI augmentation thing. What does it actually look like in practice?
Let's dive in. It's amazing when you think about it. We started talking about this debate between Brookings and Gartner, but they actually agree on a lot more than you might think.
You're right. They both say AI is going to transform work, The question isn't if it's going to happen, but how we deal with it.
Exactly. And how we use it to our advantage.
Like we're at this crossroads, right?
Yeah.
All these new possibilities, but also some unknowns.
It's a little daunting, but definitely exciting too.
One thing's for sure, though. We can't just bury our heads in the sand.
Absolutely. The future belongs to the people who are ready to adapt, to learn, to work with technology.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about our mindset, our willingness to evolve.
It's about being open to new ways of working, new ways of thinking.
AI is kind of like this mirror. It reflects our hopes and fears about the future.
I like that analogy. It makes you think.
But at the end of the day, we're the ones in control. We get to decide how this all plays out.
That's a big responsibility.
It is. We have to make sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So it's not just about reaping the rewards, it's about making sure those rewards are shared fairly.
Right. So as we wrap up, I'm feeling, cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Yeah, me too. There are challenges ahead, for sure, but there's also this incredible opportunity.
To create a world of work that's better than what we have now. More equitable, more fulfilling, more engaging.
Who knows what amazing things are just around the corner? This is just the beginning.
The future is ours to create, right? AI is a tool, and like any tool, it depends how we use it.
So keep exploring, keep learning, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Maybe we'll revisit this topic in a future deep dive, who knows?
With even more insights and ideas to share.
And hey, if you find any cool research or have any burning questions about AI, send them our way. We're always up for another deep dive. But until then, happy exploring.